Welcome, beautiful Sigma ladies. You don't lose a Sigma female, she just watches you misplace her and says nothing. Let that marinate, because by the time you realize she's gone, she's not missing. She's erased. No warning, no announcement. Just a vanishing act so smooth it makes Houdini look like an intern. But here's what most people don't realize. Ghosting isn't her weakness. It's her final power move. According to psychological studies, people who go silent after emotional overexertion aren't avoidant. They're recovering from the emotional taxation of tolerating what should have been removed ages ago. And trust me, the Sigma female doesn't do subscriptions to chaos. Once the energy turns stale, she doesn't send a memo, she pulls the plug. And while everyone's out here trying to communicate or talk things through, she's upgrading her peace like it's an operating system. But why does she do it? What triggers her ghost mode? Is it revenge, self-preservation, tactical brilliance? Or just her realizing you thought her loyalty was a discount item? Well, buckle up, because you're about to enter the psychological twilight zone of the Sigma female, where presence is earned and disappearance. That's her final masterpiece. Let's unravel it. Number 1. She knows that disappearance is a power play. Coward's fear. When a Sigma female disappears, it's never random. She's not trying to be cute or play hard to get. Her silence is not some shy girl tactic, it's a calculated weapon. And the truth is, she knows that disappearing without a trace terrifies people in a way confrontation never could. People are used to drama. They expect shouting, texting wars, closure talks, and let's figure this out loops. But what they're not prepared for is nothing. No call, no warning, no explosion. Just absence, cold, clean, complete. Most people are emotionally addicted to their own performances. They love having someone to fight with, someone to respond, someone to give them emotional feedback. They rely on others to validate their behavior, even their worst behavior. So when the Sigma female simply walks away, vanishes without reaction, and gives them zero access to her presence, that leaves them stuck in their own echo chamber. And for most, that silence is louder than any argument, because it forces them to face themselves, without her as the emotional punching bag, therapist, or crutch. This isn't ghosting for attention. This is disappearing because her presence was already abused while she was still there. Her words were ignored. Her peace was disturbed. Her energy was drained, so she vanishes, not to prove a point, but because being accessible to the wrong people became a self-betrayal. And the ones she leaves behind? They'll tell themselves all kinds of stories, that she's emotionally unavailable, that she's cold, that she's avoiding real connection. But deep down they know. Her silence is exactly what they deserved. She just had the self-control to deliver it with elegance. The power of the Sigma female lies in the fact that she doesn't need to scream to be heard. She doesn't need to argue to be right. She doesn't need to explain why she's gone. Her disappearance is the explanation. And the more someone tries to make sense of it, the more they realize they were never in control. Because when a Sigma female goes ghost, it's not to hurt you. It's to protect the only thing she's never willing to lose, herself. Number 2, she's letting the illusion rot on its own. She doesn't fight to fix what's already fake. That's the difference. While others scramble to repair broken connections, patching over red flags with excuses, guilt, or blind hope, the Sigma female takes a step back and lets the illusion collapse on its own. She doesn't argue. She doesn't explain. She doesn't even flinch, because she knows the truth always exposes itself when left in silence. Ghosting for her isn't an escape. It's a controlled demolition. She watches quietly as the cracks in your character deepen. She listens to what you don't say when she's no longer around to validate you. And she waits, not because she's passive, but because she knows the moment she removes her presence, your mask will start to slip. Your charm fades. The lies unravel. The energy that held it all together disintegrates. She knows that some truths can't be taught. They have to be revealed. And sometimes the most powerful move she can make is no move at all. No reactions, no second chances. Just silence, so sharp it peels the disguise off your behavior. It's not bitterness, it's not cruelty, it's intelligence. She understands that fake people eventually destroy themselves when left without someone to perform for. The same charm that fooled others now starts to look desperate. The manipulation tactics become obvious, and what's left? The raw, unfiltered version of you that she already saw coming. That's why she walks away with such quiet confidence. She doesn't need to argue her worth. She doesn't need to warn you what's coming. She just exits and lets reality handle the rest. It's not a tantrum. It's not ghosting out of spite. It's a psychological strategy. Let the illusion rot under its own weight, because at the end of the day, she's not here to fix your narrative. She's here to protect her own truth, and if that means watching the house of cards fall without blinking, so be it. Number 3. She's preserving her scarcity. She doesn't disappear to punish you. She disappears to preserve herself. Her time is not a buffet. Her energy is not on tap. Her soul is not something you get to casually sample, drain, then expect more of. Sigma females live by a law most people ignore. Scarcity is power. And the moment she feels her presence is being taken for granted, she removes it. Not with a dramatic exit, not with a breakdown, but with silence, complete and deliberate silence. She knows that overexposure kills value. The more people get used to her, the more they try to normalize her, shrink her, explain her. But she was never meant to be common. She was never built for constant accessibility. That's why she pulls away, not because she's running, but because she refuses to let her essence become background noise in someone else's chaotic life. Going ghost is how she keeps her frequency clear. It's how she avoids becoming emotionally overdrawn by people who don't invest anything real, and most of all, it's how she maintains her mystique, that lingering aura that haunts the memory long after she's left the room. She doesn't crave attention. She knows that when her presence is rare, it echoes louder than anyone else's noise. People remember her not because she begged to be seen, but because she disappeared before they figured her out. She is not afraid to be forgotten. She knows most people never truly saw her to begin with, but those who did, they'll feel the absence like a hole in their reality. Scarcity isn't just a strategy for her. It's a survival instinct. It's how she keeps her power unpolluted, how she stays sharp, how she stays out of emotional debt. And so when she vanishes, it's not random, it's not temporary, it's not some cry for attention, it's a reminder that access to her was never permanent. And if you wasted it, you'll miss her exactly how she planned it, deeply, silently, and forever. Number 4. Your influence was an expired experiment. She didn't let you in because she needed you. She let you in to see, to observe, to test. For the Sigma female, most connections are experiments in emotional risk. Quiet trials to measure whether someone adds depth or just noise. She watched how you moved, how you spoke, how you handled truth, silence, and power. And for a while, she gave you the benefit of the doubt. She let the experiment run. But then came the results. You weren't growing. You were repeating. You weren't building her, just borrowing her energy to stabilize your own. Little by little, her focus blurred, her clarity dimmed. Her inner compass, once razor-sharp, started to feel foggy. That's when she knew you had become interference, not chaos, not drama. Worse than that, a slow drain. She didn't ghost because she hates you. She ghosted because her mind was rusting in your presence. Her emotional clarity was being slowly diluted by half-truths, small expectations, and repetitive energy loops. And that's a threat to everything she values. Freedom, vision, precision. You thought you were bonding. She was gathering data. You thought things were stable. She was taking mental notes. And when the emotional math didn't add up, she didn't argue. She just shut down the experiment, silently, cleanly, irrevocably. Because once a Sigma female realizes someone is costing her more clarity than they bring, she doesn't debate the price. She pulls the plug and leaves. Not to hurt you, not to prove anything, but because her mind is a temple, and she noticed the cracks forming while trying to understand you, so she exits. No closure, no flash, just the quiet reclaiming of her peace before it erodes further. And here's the hard truth. You didn't fail because you weren't enough. You failed because you became predictable, and she doesn't stay where curiosity dies. Number 5. She doesn't owe you closure. She is the closure. You're waiting for a text, a reason, maybe a final talk to make sense of it all. But that wait will stretch forever, because the Sigma female doesn't do emotional customer service. She doesn't owe you a debrief. She doesn't owe you a final scene. She is the closure. Her silence isn't empty. It's packed with everything you need to know. The confusion you feel, that's the echo of every red flag you ignored. The ache in your chest, that's what it feels like to lose access to something rare. She doesn't need to explain her absence because her absence is the explanation. While most people beg for one last conversation to validate their experience, the Sigma female takes a different route. She knows closure is a self-respect game, not a dialogue. Once she's made the decision to cut ties, your understanding of it is no longer her responsibility. If you didn't listen while she was there, why should she spell it out after she's gone? She doesn't vanish to leave you broken. She vanishes because she refuses to waste another second being understood by someone who never tried. You may call it ghosting. She calls it self-reclamation. And that's what makes her unforgettable. Most people create drama when they exit. They want to be remembered through chaos. But the Sigma female doesn't need noise to make an impact. She becomes the question that keeps echoing long after she's gone. The moment you think you've moved on, something reminds you of her calm, her mystery, her silence. And just like that, you feel the gap again. You were expecting a closing paragraph. She ended the whole book, and now you're stuck rereading the pages trying to figure out what part you missed. But she's not coming back to explain it. Because she didn't leave you confused. She left you exactly where you left her, unheard. Number 6, she's studying the fallout without warning you. When a Sigma female goes ghost, it's not because she's overwhelmed or afraid. It's because she's watching, quietly, intentionally. Her absence is not a retreat, it's surveillance. You think she left to heal, or to cut you off, or to move on. But in reality, she's still present in a way that makes most people uncomfortable. She's observing what happens after her silence hits the room. Who checks in? Who pretends nothing happened? Who suddenly turns angry, guilty, or manipulative? That's what she's watching for. The fallout, the unfiltered behavior. The truth people can't hide once the emotional spotlight is gone. Sigma females don't trust words. They trust patterns. And when she disappears, she's not being passive. She's gathering evidence. Who exposes their entitlement by demanding access? Who proves their indifference by replacing her in seconds? Who spirals, and who stays composed? All of that matters more to her than anything you said while she was around. Disappearing is how she cuts through the performance. The mask drops once the audience disappears, and she knows it. Her ghost mode becomes a stress test. And your reaction? That's the real confession. If you overreact, she knows you were never in control. If you say nothing, she knows she was always alone in the connection. If you try to guilt trip her back into visibility, she sees exactly how transactional your love really was. It's not emotional withdrawal, it's tactical exposure. She wants to know who sees her absence as a loss and who sees it as a relief. She's not doing it for revenge. She's doing it because people are always more honest when they think she's not watching. But she is. Silently, sharply, completely awake to every unguarded move you make now that you think she's gone. And once she's gathered enough unfiltered truth, she decides what's next, with eyes wide open, heart clear, and no apologies. Number 7. Connection became contaminated. The Sigma female doesn't wait for a relationship to hit rock bottom. She doesn't need betrayal or heartbreak to justify her exit. All it takes is one thing: contamination. The moment she senses the connection is no longer clean, emotionally, mentally, energetically, she pulls away. Fast, quiet, precise. She's not dramatic about it. She doesn't create a scene, she just disappears like smoke leaving a room, and when she does, there are no explanations, no emotional debriefs, no final warnings. She doesn't see the need to explain why she's no longer willing to participate in something that stopped feeling safe. For a Sigma female, manipulation is noise. Passive aggression is poison. Neediness feels like a slow suffocation. These are not small issues to her, they're violations. The moment she starts feeling emotionally baited, guilt-tripped, or drained, she recognizes it for what it is, a leak in her system. And she doesn't tolerate leaks. She seals them with silence. What most people don't understand is that she takes her energy very seriously. Her peace is non-negotiable. Her mind is her sanctuary. And the minute your presence starts to fog her clarity, she'll start making digital and emotional exits, deleting your access while you're still typing. This isn't cold-hearted. It's high-functioning self-preservation. She knows that staying in a polluted connection too long doesn't just hurt, it rewires you. It bends your thinking. It dulls your instincts. And she refuses to let herself be reshaped by dysfunction. That's why her exits are so sharp. One day she's present, warm, curious. The next, you can't find her in any corner of your world. She erases herself not out of spite, but to detox from your energy, to reclaim her emotional bandwidth, to stop the contamination before it turns her into someone she doesn't recognize. You may never understand what tipped her off, but she did. And once she detects it, she's already gone. Number 8. Her intuition screamed louder than your words. You didn't insult her, you didn't raise your voice, you didn't even say anything wrong, but your vibe told on you. Your words passed the surface test, but your energy betrayed you, and the Sigma female caught every signal. She read the tension in your pauses, the forced smiles, the hidden motives behind your kindness. And once her intuition locked in, there was no need for confrontation. She didn't need more proof, she already had enough. Sigma females are emotionally surgical. They don't need drama to confirm a disconnect. All it takes is a shift, small, invisible to most, but loud in their gut. A weird silence in your message, a delay that felt too calculated, a compliment that smelled like bait. She doesn't need to wait for betrayal to unfold. Her intuition already told her this space is no longer clean, and when that voice inside her starts to scream, she listens. Not later, not when it's too late, but immediately. She trusts it more than your excuses, your apologies, or your fake consistency, and she doesn't argue with it. She doesn't start a debate about whether it's fair. She doesn't hold on to see if you meant well. She just disappears, fully, instantly, without a trace. Because to her, intuition is not a suggestion, it's survival. It's how she avoids emotional corrosion. It's how she stays one step ahead of manipulation that hasn't even fully formed yet. You may never know what you did wrong. That's the unsettling part. You think everything was fine. You think you said all the right things, but your energy was off. And she doesn't ignore that. She didn't ghost you out of spite. She left because staying any longer would have meant silencing the one thing that has never lied to her, her inner voice. Number 9. You triggered her inner archivist. You thought everything was calm, no arguments, no tension, no obvious signs of trouble. But what you didn't see was that her inner archivist had already started sorting the data, quietly, relentlessly. While you laughed, explained, justified, or deflected, she was remembering, logging, cross-referencing. You didn't just trigger her emotions, you triggered her memory. Sigma females have minds like forensic files. They don't forget what you said, how you said it, or what your energy felt like while you were saying it. And while most people react in the moment, she doesn't. She plays the long game. She stores everything in silence until the pattern becomes undeniable. You called it a mistake. She logged it as inconsistency. You brushed it off as stress. She archived it under emotional unreliability. And one day, without drama, warning, or final discussion, the system reached capacity. That's when she vanished. Not because of something you did that day, but because of everything you didn't think mattered before. All the emotional receipts you thought she threw away, she kept them. Every ignored instinct, every delayed apology, every fake reassurance. And once the pattern became clear, her ghost mode wasn't a sudden act, it was a delayed shutdown. This isn't emotional impulsiveness. This is emotional accounting. The numbers didn't add up. The emotional investment wasn't matching the return, and once her intuition synced with her archive, she knew it was time to go. You may call her reaction cold, confusing, unfair, but to her, it's simple math. Staying would mean betraying her own records. It would mean pretending that the past didn't matter just because it was quiet. But she remembers too clearly to keep pretending. She's not ghosting to punish you. She's closing a tab that was open far too long, and once she shuts it, it stays closed. Number 10. Her shadow side took the wheel. When a Sigma female vanishes into silence, people assume she's broken, that she's lost, confused, or hiding from life. But what they don't realize is, her shadow side just took the wheel. And that's not weakness. That's rebirth in progress. She doesn't run from pain. She studies it. She takes the betrayal, the exhaustion, the emotional noise, and she locks herself away like a scientist in a private lab. While the world keeps spinning, she's inside her own silence, breaking down every wound into data. Every scar becomes insight. Every disappointment becomes a tool. She's not watching Netflix under a blanket. She's dissecting the parts of herself she had to suppress just to survive around people who didn't deserve her presence. And while she's off the radar, she's not sulking. She's upgrading, quietly, sharply, ruthlessly. That silence you hear, that's not surrender. That's her unlearning the lies she absorbed. That's her extracting the parts of herself that dimmed to make others feel comfortable. That's her pulling every ounce of power back into herself. And when her shadow side is in control, she's not focused on being nice or available. She's focused on becoming untouchable. This is where the most dangerous version of her is born, not dangerous in a cruel way, but in a clarified way. She sheds the need to explain. She loses tolerance for fake connections. She sharpens her intuition into something that slices through people before they even speak. When she returns, and she will, she's not the same. She won't need closure. She won't need validation. She won't need you. You'll look at her and feel the shift instantly. The softness is still there, but it's guarded by something darker, colder, and more selective. She didn't go ghost to vanish. She went ghost to rebuild in the shadows, into a version of herself that won't need to ghost next time. Because next time, she'll spot the red flags before you even show them. Number 11. She's testing the strength of your obsession. When a Sigma female goes ghost, she's not waiting for you to notice. She's watching how you notice. No contact, no updates, no breadcrumbs, not a single signal that says, "I'm still here." And that's intentional. She doesn't beg to be remembered. She wants to know if your interest was real or just convenient. If your attention had depth, or if it dies the second she's no longer in front of you. Most people are addicted to constant reminders. They need posts, messages, validation, but not her. She removes herself completely to test what kind of impact her presence really had. Will you feel the void, or just scroll past it? Will you sense the difference, or just fill the silence with someone easier? This is not a game. It's a filter, a pressure test. Because when she cuts the line, she's not waiting for desperation. She's looking for alignment. If she mattered, the silence will be deafening. If she didn't, the noise you replace her with will expose everything. Sigma females don't chase. They don't hint. They don't try to make you miss them. They simply exit and let reality take over. And what happens next? That tells her everything she needs to know. If you panic, she knows you were invested. If you stay still, she knows you never were. If you replace her overnight, she knows your attention was never about her. Just the convenience of her presence. She's not testing your loyalty by making you jump through hoops. She's measuring your depth by giving you nothing to hold on to. No performances, no bait, just silence. And in that silence, the truth leaks out. Because only two things happen when she disappears. You chase the ghost, or you expose your emptiness. And either way, she sees what she came to see. Number 12. She can't be accessed on low frequencies. You can't reach her just because you want to. Wanting access isn't enough. Needing her isn't enough. Even loving her loudly isn't enough. If your energy doesn't match her frequency, you're already locked out. Sigma females live on a different plane, not because they think they're better, but because they refuse to stay in emotional spaces that drain them. When your energy starts vibrating in chaos, desperation, or ego-driven noise, she feels it before you say a word. And the moment that shift happens, she starts slipping out of reach. She doesn't fight, she doesn't argue, she just becomes unavailable. Emotionally, mentally, sometimes physically. You'll feel it, the distance, the sudden silence, the way your words stop landing. And it's not an attitude, it's an instinct, because she's allergic to low frequencies. If you're emotionally codependent, she feels it as a weight. If you chase validation through status, likes, or approval, she hears it as static. If you bring nothing but need and demand her presence like a prize, she sees it for what it is, energetic poverty. She's not cruel for walking away. She's cleaning her field, protecting her clarity, choosing peace over proximity. And no, she won't explain it. She's not going to sit you down and unpack why your energy is repelling her. She'll just disappear. Because explaining it would require her to lower her frequency just to be understood, and she's not built for that. You think silence is her way of shutting you out, but it's actually her way of preserving herself. Being around low-frequency energy isn't just annoying to her, it's toxic. It fogs her mind, it dulls her instincts, it makes her question her own clarity, and she'd rather be alone than polluted. So if she's vanished, ask yourself this. Was your energy real, grounded, whole, or was it noisy, needy, and hungry for attention? Because the Sigma female doesn't ghost out of cruelty. She disappears the moment your vibration drops beneath her boundaries. She didn't disappear to confuse you. She disappeared because she outgrew what your presence required her to tolerate. Sigma females don't go ghost for drama, attention, or ego. They go ghost when the energy turns heavy, the connection turns artificial, and their inner peace starts suffocating. Every time they vanish, it's a calculated act of self-preservation, not punishment. It's how they clean their emotional slate, protect their frequency, and reset their clarity. She doesn't slam doors. She doesn't burn bridges. She just fades, with surgical precision. Not because she's heartless, but because she refuses to explain herself to people who ignored her when she was fully present. When a Sigma female vanishes, she's not hiding. She's observing. She's studying, upgrading, and healing in a way you'll never witness. And when she returns, if she returns, she's sharper, colder, more magnetic than ever. Because ghost mode isn't her weakness, it's her evolution. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, don't just scroll away. Hit that subscribe button. Because around here we don't water down truth, we sharpen it. Like this video. If you've ever chosen peace over noise, silence over performance, drop a comment and tell us, have you ever gone ghost to protect your energy? Share this with someone who needs to understand that disappearing isn't weakness, it's strategy. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss content that actually sees you. Because in a world obsessed with being seen, Sigma females know the real power lies in knowing when to disappear.